In this video, we are going to do some 7-8 questions based on rationalizing the denominator. So what you can see here that here the denominator is 3 root 3. Clearly, it is an irrational, right? So uh, definitely we cannot convert an irrational number into rational, but we can rationalize the denominator. So for that, what you have to remember that, let's say, for example, our question is 2 over 3 root 3. And the irrational part of this is under root 3. So we can clearly see that the rationalizing factor over here is under root 3. So for this, we'll be divide this by root 3. So we'll be multiplying by root 3 at the same time dividing by root 3. So it's going to give you 2 root 3 that divided by 3. And as you know that root 3 into root 3 is 3. So we'll be writing 3 here. So that comes out to be 2 root 3 over 9 after rationalizing the denominator. Continuing with this, we can see now the denominator here is root 3. So it is under root 40 that divided by root 3. So the denominator, which is irrational here, and it is root 3. So same way, we'll be rationalizing here by rationalizing factor has to be root 3. So when we write root 3 over root 3, like multiplying, dividing by root 3, what we can say, we'll get 40 into root 3. We may write like this, 40 into 3, and that is root 3 into root 3 is 3, which you may write under root 9, which is 3 only. Now, what we can see that although we have rationalized the denominator, but it is always better if we write them in the reduced form. So what I can do, I can factorize 40 as 2 into 2, 4, 4 into 2, 8, 8 into 5, and then 3 over 3. As you can see, there is a doublet of 2, so I can write 2 outside and the remaining 30 inside. So therefore, final answer in that case is going to be 2 under root 30 over 3. This is the irrational, like now you can say that the denominator is rationalized here. In the third part, we can see that root 3 is the irrational. So we can say for in order to rationalize root 2, we have to rationalize. Rationalizing factor clearly will be root 2 only, right? So I may write down the question again and then proceed. This is 3 plus root 2 that divided by 4 root 2. And keeping in mind that root 2 is irrational, so we'll be multiplying, dividing by root 2. Now over here, I'm going to do binomial multiplication. That is 3 multiplied by root 2 will give you 3 root 2, and root 2 multiplied by root 2 is 2. And now you can see root 2 into root 2 multiplied by root 2 is 2. So this is 4 multiplied by 2. We can further reduce this as 3 root 2 plus 2 that divided by 8. So therefore, this is the irrational. This is the final answer where we have rationalized the denominator. In the next part, our denominator, which is irrational, is under root 41. But here we cannot multiply, divide by under root 41. As you can see here that it is in the form of a minus b. So we need to keep in mind. Let me write down the question first. So this is 16 that divided by, this is under root 41 minus 5. So what you have to keep in mind that whenever your denominator is in the form of a plus b, is right, its rationalizing factor will be a minus b and vice versa. So it is in the form of a minus b, so we'll be multiplying divided by 8 plus b. That means we'll be multiplying by a plus b form and dividing it also by root a plus root 5. Now what you can see that if you multiply 16, let me write down first in product. And then what you have to remember, this is a minus b into a plus b, right? This you need to keep in mind that the identity we are using is, this is a minus b and a plus b, which is a square minus b square. So we have this a as root 41 square minus b. B is 5, not root 5. Further, we can write 16. So it's important to remember that we generally do not multiply the 16 with this number because mostly it get cancelled. Now let's say root 41 square. As you know, 41 under root whole square is 41, so it's 41, and 5 square is 25. Now what do we get here? It is 16 whole under root 41 plus 5, and below it is 41 minus 25 is 16. Clearly this gets 16 get cancelled, and therefore we'll write this answer as 41 plus under root 5. That should be our final answer. In the next part, we can see that our denominator is in the form of 2 minus root 3. As I said in the previous question also, that if your denominator, let's say, is in the form of a minus b, then we'll multiply by a plus b. So clearly we'll be multiplying by a plus b. So by that it means to say that we'll be multiplying this by 2 minus root 3, and same, sorry, 2 plus root 3. So what I said, if your denominator, which we need to rationalize, is in the form of a minus b, we multiply divided by a plus b. Now in the next step, we can see that in the numerator, we have a plus b multiplied by a plus b. So that will give you a plus b whole square. And the denominator, this is a minus b and a plus b. So that should give you a square minus b square, that is 2 square minus root 3 square. Now what you'll do next, you'll be applying a plus b whole square identity, which is a square plus the square of the second term, that is b square, plus 2 times a into b. Clearly a is 2 and b is root 3. And below it is 2 square, which is 4, and root 3 square is 3. So finally we'll be writing the root 2 square is 4, root 3 square is 3, and plus 2 into 2 is 4, 4 root 3. And as you can see, it is 4 minus 3, that is 1. So finally, 4 plus 3 is 7, 7 plus 4 root 3 is the final answer for this part. Same to the previous question here, our denominator is in the form of a plus b. So as I said, if our denominator is in the form of a plus b, we should multiply divide by a minus b. So clearly we'll be multiplying by root 2 minus root 3 and doing same with the denominator. Now this way what we can see, that we'll get root 6 multiplied by, in the numerator it is root 6 multiplied by root 2 minus root 3, and below it is root 2 square minus root 3 square. So this we are going to get as under root 12, right? Root 2 into root 6 is under root 12 minus under root 18, that divided by, you should know that root 2 square is 2 and root 3 square is 3. Now if I continue solving it, what do we get? Let's see. The root 12, if I factorize root 12, it is actually, if we factorize root 12, what we'll get? We'll get 2 into 2 into 3, right? And if I factorize under root 18, as you know, under root 18 can be written as 3 into 3 into 2. 3, this is root 3 into 3, right, into 2. And in the denominator, as you can see, 2 minus 3 is minus 1. This is 2 minus 3. Now you can see there is a doublet of 2. So I can write 2 outside and root 3 inside only. There's a doublet of root 3. So 3 will come outside, 3 root 2. But there is a minus sign below. Keeping in mind, we'll be multiplying minus with numerator and denominator. So this is going to become positive. So what I'm doing here is I'm removing this minus sign. For that, I'm multiplying, dividing by minus. So this is going to be positive if I multiply. That's why I'm writing 3 root 2 first as positive, and this is going to become negative. So it's minus 2 root 3. So this is going to be our final answer for this. Same as the previous question, here also we need to rationalize the denominator. And for rationalizing the denominator, we need to see the denominator, which is in the form of a minus b. So clearly we'll be multiplying, dividing it by a plus b. That means root 3 plus root 2, right? That divided by root 3 plus root 2. So what we'll get the numerator as? On rationalizing, you'll get the numerator as root 3 plus root 2 whole square, and denominator, that is, this is a, this is b, a and b. So it's in the form of a plus b into a minus b. So it can be written as a square minus b square. Now continuing with this, what you can see, I'm going to apply a plus b whole square. So a square, that is root 3 square, is 3. B square, that is root 2 square, is 2. Plus 2 times a into b, root 3 into root 2. That divided by a is root 3 square, which is 3. Root 2 square, which is 2. Now if I proceed, I can see this is 3 plus 2, that is 5. Plus this is 2 times root 2 into root 3, right? So it's going to be root 6. You know that root 2 into root 3 is root 6. And this is 3 minus 2, which is 1. So as you know, that 1 we may not write in the denominator. So this should be the final answer for this part. Like the previous part also, we are going to do this in the same manner. We have the denominator as root 3, root 5 minus root 3. That is in the form of, this is in the form of a minus b. So first I'll write down the question here. The question is 3 root 5 plus root 3, and below it is root 5 minus root 3. So our irrational denominator, as you can see, that irrational part of the denominator is root 5 minus root 3. So we'll be multiplying, dividing it by root 5 plus root 3, and then root 5 plus root 3. Now here I'm going to do binomial multiplications. What I'll do here is, first I'll be multiplying this with this whole, and then with root 3 with this whole. So let's write down, this is 3 root 5 multiplied by root 5 plus root 3, and then root 3 multiplied by root 5 plus root 3. Now in the denominator, as you can see, it's in the form of a minus b into a plus b. So we can write this as a square minus b square. That is root 5 square minus root 3 square. Now check again. What we are going to do is to multiply here. This is root 5 into root 5, right? So we are going to multiply this with this. So let's say what we are getting here. I should tell you once again, I'm going to multiply this with this first. So this is root 5 into root 5 is 5. 5 into 3 is 15. So it will come 15. Then it's root 5 into root 3 is root 15. And there's a 3. So it's 3 root 15 plus. This is also going to give you root 15. And this into this will give you 3. And below you can see it is root 5 square, which is 5, and root 3 square is 3. So finally, we can do some like terms. This is 5 plus 3 is, sorry, 15 plus 3 is 18, plus this is 3 times root 15, and this is 1 times root 15. So it will give you 4 times root 15. Below you can see it is 5 minus 3, which is 2. So if I take 2 common from the numerator and reduce it with this 2 here, so finally I'll get 9 plus 2 root 15 as the answer. So what I'm doing here is I've taken 2 common from the numerator. So the 18 will become 9, 4 will become 2, root 15 as it is. That cancels this denominator. So this would be our final answer. In the last part of this question, like we are doing the last question of this video. So we can, here also we can see that the denominator is in the form of a plus b. But we need to simplify the denominator first before rationalizing it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write root 48. So let me factorize 48. If I do so, why should I do? It will be clear. So if I do so, I'm getting this 12 and 6, 2 and 3. We can see we have a doublet of 2 and another doublet of 2. So under root 48 now can be written as 2 root 3. Under root 48 can be written, sorry, not 2 root 3. That is 2 into 2, 4 root 3. So this is what I'm going to do here is to write the denominator. So I'll be writing 48 after simplifying as 4 root 2. Now same with under root 18. I can factorize 18 and write it as say 9 times 3, 3 times 3, 3 times. So we can see that there is a doublet of 3, right? There is a doublet of 3 over here. So I can write this as 3 root 2. So this becomes the under root 18 after simplifying becomes 3 root 2. Right, we did some mistake here. And what was that? That this was 4 root 3, right? And I wrote 4 root 2. So this is 4 root 3. And this under root 18 is actually 3 root 2. Now you see, we have simplified the denominator here. And next what we are going to do is to rationalize the denominator. Let's say if I rationalize the denominator, what we will get. Now for rationalizing the denominator, we'll be multiplying, dividing, right? So with, see with what number we should multiply, divide. We have our denominator is in the form of a minus b. Sorry, a plus b, so we'll be multiplying with a minus b. So it's going to be 4 root 3 minus 3 root 2. Now what you can see that the numerator, we have to apply distributive property here. So this will be 4 root 3 times 4 root 3 minus 3 root 2. And same with this. This is positive 5 root 2 times 4 root 3 minus 3 root 2. And that divided by a plus b, a minus b. So it's going to be a square minus b square. That is 4 root 3 square minus 3 root 2 square. Now what we'll do here is finally to multiply them. So this multiplied by this, 4 into 4 is 16 and root 3 into root 3 is 9. So 16 into 9, that's 144. Sorry, root 3 into root 3 is 3 and 4 into 4 is 16. Right, so 16 into 4 is 48. Then 4 into 3 is 12 and root 3 into root 2 is root 6. Now in this, 5 into 4 is 20 and root 2 into root 3 is root 6. For this, 5 into 3, right, 5 into 3 is 15 and root 2 into root 2 is 2. So that comes out to be negative 30. And in the denominator, right, in the denominator, we have a square of this 14 square, 4 square is 16 into 3, that is 48 minus 3 square is 9 and 9 into 2 is 18. Now post that, we'll be doing the like terms here, that is 20 minus 30 is 18. And then we have these two like terms, which is positive 8 root 6. That divided by 48 minus 18 comes out to be 30. So we may reduce by taking common and write it as 9 minus 4 root 6 divided by 15. That's the end of this question.